Good Monday morning. It is 2 minutes after the hour on the 29th day of July. It's currently 66 degrees here in Wenatchee. I'll have all the details of that forecast for you later today. I'm clearly not Dan Kuntz. I will be filling in for him this week. He'll be back in his seat next Monday. Until then, I have some pretty big shoes to fill. Later on the show, we're going to talk about the Pioneer Fire. There were some updates over the weekend, some changes I'll fill you in on. We'll also, of course, talk sports. We have some news about the Seahawks training camp as well as baseball. We'll tell you about that Mariners win over the weekend. And of course, like I mentioned, we'll talk weather. Let's go ahead and take a look at our cameras around the Wenatchee Valley. Here we have our Wenatchee Heights camera, beautiful Wenatchee Valley. Looks gorgeous this Monday morning. We are expecting a little drizzle later today. We have about a 30% chance of rain, but as of right now, it just looks like some cloudy skies. And then we're looking at our Stein Hill camera over Cashmere. Looks like traffic is flowing nicely this morning. Looks like the sun's coming up. Our Blagg camera in Leavenworth. And Lake Wenatchee, of course, stunning as always. All right, let's talk weather for the week. Today, we'll get a reprieve from the record heat we've been experiencing this summer. It looks like we're going to have a high of around 80 today. We do have that 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms I mentioned earlier. Probably won't need an umbrella. It does look like it's just going to be a couple raindrops here and there, but it should feel nice considering the rest of the week is going to be dry and mainly sunny. Tomorrow will still be a little on the cooler side for July. We're expecting a high of about 85 tomorrow, and then Wednesday it's going to start to ramp up to the 90s. We're expecting a high in the low 90s Wednesday. Thursday, it's going to really heat up to a high of 99, just barely missing those triple-digit temps. Friday and Saturday will be our hottest days of the week. Very, very hot. We'll have a high of 104 both of those days. And then Sunday, I don't even want to say cool off. It'll be less hot than Saturday and Sunday with a high of 102. Our lows will be in the lower 70s for the back half of our week. This Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, it looks like we'll have lows in the 60s and sunny weather besides today. We're going to have some wind today, gusts of up to 20 miles per hour, something to keep in mind. Tomorrow, we're going to have wind around 5 to 9 miles per hour, and it's going to really ramp up Tuesday night to about 13 miles per hour. The rest of the week, it looks like we're going to have calm winds, which will be nice considering the heat. And we are 3 minutes after the hour on the 29th of July. We'll take a quick commercial break and then come back with some news.
Enjoy the sounds of summer from your very own pool and spa. Blue Lagoon is now scheduling pool installations for this summer. Call today to schedule a free consultation for a custom San Juan fiberglass pool. And let the experts at Blue Lagoon handle the construction, installation, and regular maintenance. Turn your boring backyard into vacation paradise this summer with industry-leading San Juan pool. No need to go off the deep end. Relax knowing you're in great hands with Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa.
The family at the Epladolin want to help your loved one feel at ease in their new home environment. Epladolin offers beautiful one-bedroom and studio apartments. Residents enjoy 3 delicious home-style meals a day, laundry service, housekeeping service, and encouragement to make themselves cozy in their new home. Epladolin welcomes your family to come and visit their family. Epladolin, independent and assisted living. They make the complicated easy for you. Call today for a tour.
I want you to know where I stand on abortion. As governor, I will not change Washington law on this issue because I do not believe any politician, regardless of personal belief, has the right to make that decision for any woman. My opponent, Bob Ferguson, is trying to spread fear by saying things that I don't believe and will not do.
Good Monday morning. It is 5 minutes after the hour on the 29th of July. It's currently 66 degrees here in Wenatchee. We are expecting a high of about 80 today, mostly cloudy skies, a 30% chance of rain. We will start talking about some news. Sunday morning, a level 3 evacuation notice, meaning get out now, was put in place from just north of Moore Point through the Stehekin Valley after a rapid 5,500-acre uplake spread of the fire. Flames jumped the 4-mile drainage Saturday and pushed further north. Some evacuation levels were lowered Sunday as well on the southern portion of the fire toward Manson. Moore Point to Safety Harbor was downgraded to a level 2, and Safety Harbor to Camas Creek was downgraded to a level 1. The level 1 fire advisory was lifted from Camas Creek to Mitchell Creek. As of Sunday morning, the fire had burned 33,277 acres since first being reported June 8th. It was believed to have been human-caused. Containment was changed to 10% Sunday morning after being reported at 14% for weeks. Light rain is expected over the fire today.
Fire activity yesterday increased, particularly in the Flick Creek drainage. So firefighters had constructed what we call a check line just on the lower part of Flick Creek where it was possible to do so. Fire went above that check line and crossed over through the creek drainage and picked up activity in the afternoon. And that was an area in which it really necessitated for fire management and Chelan County Emergency Management to look at and assess those evacuation levels. And so that's why, as a precautionary measure, going into that level 2 evacuation level for Stehekin. And that level 2 evacuation level really is a get set, so get ready to leave for those Stehekin residents.
And that video was from last week. A fire destroyed a home and garage, then spread up a nearby hillside outside Kashmir Thursday night. Fire districts from Lake Wenatchee to Wenatchee and a Department of Natural Resources crew assisted in keeping the fire from being spread further by the 20 miles per hour winds. It eventually was limited to just over 2 acres. The fire was first reported about 9:45 p.m. in the 6,000 block of North Dryden Road between the Goodwin Bridge in Kashmir and Pashastin Pinnacle State Park. Chelan County Fire District 6 Chief Andy Lee said firefighters had the blaze contained by about 4 this morning, and some crews remained on site into this afternoon for mop-up. Lee said there were no injuries and the residents of the home are staying with relatives on nearby property. The cause of the fire is under investigation. DeAndre Vasquez joined the Wenatchee Valley Chamber of Commerce this week as the new Hispanic Business and Community Relations Coordinator. The position was created in a partnership with SkillSource, a local career nonprofit, to enhance economic opportunities within the Hispanic business community. Vasquez grew up in Leavenworth and studied marketing and political science at WSU, according to a press release. He brings a great deal of leadership experience to the role with him and plans on working with minority-owned businesses to help learn about their needs and challenges. Trucking company owner Jimmy Sherrill says he'd apply a biblical approach to Douglas County government as District 2 Commissioner. Sherrill is owner of Wenatchee-based Midland Trucking, a company founded by his father. The East Wenatchee Republican threw his hat into the primary election when Commissioner Kyle Steinberg announced he'd leave office this year after serving 2 terms. He spoke with NCW Life's Jefferson Robbins about his candidacy and about the tax penalties that have haunted his trucking business.
I would say there's 2 major issues that I have, what I want to run for, and one of those is law enforcement. I'm really passionate about our law enforcement. I feel like when everybody sits down, cities and counties and the states sit down to do their budgets and they fall short, the first place they go is law enforcement. I have to say, I've lived here all my life. I've felt safe my entire life. And so I want those guys to be equipped with the best schooling and knowledge and equipment that money can buy, because they are the safety of our community. So huge deal for me in that situation. The other one is the growth management of what we're doing. I mean, if everybody in Douglas County was to go back and look on their taxes, they would see that our tax rate in Douglas County has actually went down. They don't feel like it because their price keeps going up. Well, that's because there's a huge increase in property value. Everybody's house is worth $50,000 to $100,000 more than it was worth. So as the assessed value comes in, it feels like I'm paying more property tax, but the property tax ratio is actually less than what it was. So our growth is doing fine, I think, and I think that it just needs to really be looked at.
What would be your philosophy about managing the county? I mean, are there particular, life lessons you'd want to bring to bear?
I mean, I've owned a business in this valley, multiple businesses in this valley, majorly the trucking. So I'm good with numbers, I'm good with budget. When times are tough, we know where to make those educated decisions that have to happen. And a lot of this, I mean, some of it to me, or I shouldn't say some of it, all of it is based upon just a common sense, strategic value of looking at things with biblical values. I think we've lost focus of that in our political world.
When you say biblical values, what do you think you would bring to, say, a discussion about budgeting or personnel at Douglas County that would require a biblical value to be applied?
Well, I think the biblical value of that is we're responsible for the money that we have. And so if we don't spend it wisely, then we're not holding up a biblical value of honoring what has basically God has given us.
Well, Midland is a company that's been going for a long time. Your father James was the founder, and you are the owner operator now.
Yeah.
In the last 3 years, Jimmy, Midland has been assessed a penalty for not paying its workers' compensation taxes, 2022, 23, 24, amounts going from about $3,000 to about $12,000 a year. Given that you want to run a county that's responsible about taxation, is this a responsibility that you should take on to a greater degree?
You know what, I really do think it is. We got left legacy debt. When my dad left, there was a lot of hidden stuff under cracks that we didn't know existed, or I didn't know that existed. So we acquired some very heavy legacy debt through multiple things, IRS, states, things that have punished us for a while. And so I believe that we have tried to do the best that we could do, but when you're in the trucking industry, there is a lot of repercussions of things that you don't know that has happened that haunt you for years and years and years to come. And so we have taken every tactical move we could to satisfy all these debts, and so that's what we're doing. I mean, it's about breaking problems down and fixing them in the outcome.
NCW Life reporter Casey Safford interviewed haberdashery Jim Dandy, who recently relocated to Woody's Classic Man in downtown Wenatchee.
Well, I started a couple of years ago. Initially, I had a space, a little 9x9 space inside the consignment store down the road in Simply Unique. And I'm forever grateful for the opportunity that they afforded me there. And that's how I started. It was just a little space, as I said. But then, as I added more merchandise, my space, of course, stayed the same. So I was getting a little bit cluttered in there. So I was hoping to find a place that was bigger, that would allow me to have more merchandise. And some other people in the shop had the same thoughts. So I came here to talk to Sam Mills about the possibility of renting this place out. And right when I walked in, Sam said to me, "Well, Jim, I'm sorry, I'm going to be renting to this couple." And they turned around, and it was Kelly and Adam, whom I'd met over the last couple of years when I found out that they opened a shop. So we would run into each other around town or up in Chelan. When I saw them that day, they said, "Jim, we were just talking about you, wondering how we could incorporate you into this." And I thought, this is serendipitous, this is perfect. And that's how it came to be. I've got some suits over here. There's some plain colored ones, and I've got some with what they call window pane or check plaid designs. I also offer made-to-measure suits. So they're not quite exactly custom, but the guys will try on the suit that fits them, the jacket that fits them the best, the pants that fit the best, and I've got a spec sheet, and I can go through it and say, okay, This is a 42 regular, but the sleeves are a little too long, so let's bring them up like an inch on your left arm, maybe a half inch on your right arm, because our arms are not exactly the same length. And I do those little tweaks like that. But before that point, they've got my material sample swatch books. So they'll go through and pick the exact material they want, the lining, you know, how many buttons you want in the front, you know, how many buttons you want on the sleeve, what kind of lapels you want, all the whole 9 yards. So I've got suits for that. I've got some really cool ties. I mean, my day job, I work in Chelan County Superior Court, so I'm a suit and tie guy every day. So along those same lines, as you can see, why be normal, you know? I've got my black suits, I've got my gray suits, but I've got some colorful ones as well that I like to wear. So I like to sell that kind of aesthetic here. I've always said to my friends that I had a feeling that guys here in Wenatchee or in the Valley want to dress up more than they do. I can't tell you how many guys think that way, but I do know that 100% of their women think that way.
And we have several other newscasts later today. You can catch those at 5, 6, or 10 tonight. You can watch those here on NCW Life, or you could check them out online. Facebook page, YouTube page, the homepage of NCW Life, and there's even an app. So plenty of places for you to get your local news. Up next, we'll talk sports. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on NCW Life.
If you live in Douglas County, this message is for you. Randy Agnew, current mayor of Rock Island, would appreciate your vote in the primary election for Douglas County Commissioner District 2. Why vote for Randy? He has over 8 years of experience with great results running a city and working with the county and other agencies. Randy is on many local boards where his input has made changes for the good for all the Wenatchee Valley.
I'm Randy Agnew, and I want to bring that same leadership and commitment to all of Douglas County.
Paid for by Douglas County First.
My name is Anna Marie. I've lived at Prestige here for 6.5 years, and I love it. They just made you feel so welcome. I love my room. I get 3 meals a day, do as I darn well want to. I've loved it ever since I moved in.
Mom's a wonderful, wonderful lady. She deserved the very best, and I got it for her here at Prestige.
When you buy tires at Les Schwab, you're getting more than just tires. You're getting America's best tire warranty, 60-day satisfaction guarantee, no hassle road hazard protection, and free maintenance for the life of your tires. So if something happens to your tire on the road, we'll fix it, or we'll replace it, no questions asked. Other places make you pay extra for that kind of protection, but at Les Schwab, it's included with every set of tires, because more warranty means less worry, and nobody stands by their tires like Les Schwab. Get more from Les.
Apple Valley Honda is bringing the future of driving to you. Introducing the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue EV. Say goodbye to gas stations and hello to a whisper-quiet ride and zero emissions. The wait is over. Finally, a local option for a quality EV from a brand with a track record of exceptional quality and reliability. Experience the Honda Prologue EV for yourself at family-owned Apple Valley Honda. Stay close to home and visit us at Apple Valley Honda today for the life you live.
Good Monday morning. I'm Kaylee Worthen. It is currently 19 minutes after the hour on the 29th of July. The Seattle Mariners completed a 3-game sweep of the Chicago White Sox Sunday with a 6-3 victory. Cal Riley had a 2-run home run and drove in 3 as Seattle jumped back into a tie with Houston atop the American League West.
Here's Cal Raleigh. Cal Raleigh swats this out to left field, tagged well, back, and they just keep coming. Cal Raleigh with some instant offense. He has homered in back-to-back games, and the Mariners on the board right away. As Leo Rivas climbs in. Rivas really choking up on that bat as he puts it in play. Taken there at short, over to second. Baldwin on to first, not in time, and a run scores. Leo Rivas puts together a pesky AB, able to avoid a double play and push across the Mariners' 3rd run. It's 3-0 in the second. 3-2 on Haniger on a pitch that was a touch off the plate. Two in scoring position, infield in. Hard hit grounder, and it's passed to Young. Oh, a nightmare inning for Paul DeYoung. Polanco is in. Dylan Moore with his speed scores standing. And the Mariners cash in for two more. And the Boo Birds reign here on the south side. And Paul DeYoung is feeling it over at third base. Oh,
and it looked like another routine play to him.
See if Tommy Pham can come through here in this third inning. There's only so much you can do. On the ground, and there is Tommy Pham delivering. Corey Lee will come in, and the White Sox on the board here in this third inning.
19th driven in as Tommy Pham takes it through the right side.
He lines this out to left field. It touches down for a base hit. Robles hits third base and comes around. He scores standing.
Three-two. This one straightaway center. Well hit at the wall. It is gone. Paul DeYoung, his 18th of the season, and we've got some fireworks here on the south side.
Munoz trying to finish the day. The 1-2. And a lazy fly ball out to left field. Randy Arozarena is in, and the Mariners break out the brooms on the south side.
Bryce Miller earned his 8th win, going 6 1/3 innings, allowing 3 runs on 7 hits with 6 strikeouts. Manager Scott Service was happy to see his club bounce back over the weekend.
To bounce back after a rough series at home against the Angels, and certainly the White Sox have, they've been struggling, throughout the year. But you still got to go out and do it, and it's hard to sweep people, certainly on the road. So credit to our guys. I thought, starting with Bryce Miller, a little concerned early when he took the line drive off the heel. He sucked it up. He was not at 100% today. Where we were at, certainly he understands his job on the ball club, and he did an heck of an effort to stay out there and get as deep in the game as he did. So again, you're hoping to keep a little bit wider gap there, so we could use some different guys out of the pen. But the key is to win the game, and our bullpen guys after him did a really nice job. With what Garcia has added here the last couple days, Mooney's been solid and both picking us up there. Offensively, Cal Raleigh, wow, 10 home runs from each side of the plate. That's really hard to do. So he continues to put together a good year, and Randy didn't hit it hard all day, but he's on base, and you create opportunities. Vic, another great game there. So nice to sweep this series. We head into Boston, getting some momentum here with our club offensively, which is key. It's really key. Everybody knows how we lean on our pitching, but the guys on offense need to step up. We're starting to see that. Outstanding series by Polo. Cal, a good series. I mean, Vic's been rolling. You see a number of guys starting to chip in right now with, a couple of our key contributors, on the IL. And guys know they need to step up, and that's when we're getting contributions from everybody up and down the lineup.
Seattle is in Boston this afternoon to take on the Red Sox in the first of 3 games at 4:10 on Root Sports Northwest. The Dodgers beat Houston 6-2 as the Astros and Mariners remain in a virtual tie for first in the American League West. Texas was swept by the Blue Jays to fall to 4.5 games back. The Angels beat the A's Sunday 8-6. The tempo will pick up dramatically at Seahawks training camp today. This is the first time under coach Mike McDonald and his staff for Seattle to practice in pads. After a day to rest yesterday, Coach McDonald is eager to see actual hitting for the first time today.
I want to feel this, man. I want to feel who's out there, and I want to feel the physicality and who's going to move people. We want to do it smart. We want to take care of one another, but we also got to sharpen it as well. So that's a challenge. Be our first practice in pads, understanding the expectations, but it'll be pretty clear when we get out here.
McDonald and his staff are also getting the players gathered at the Virginia Mason Athletic Center a little earlier this morning.
The first thing is so it's just not monotonous, and then the other thought is we have a couple East Coast trips where, hey, guys, we've done it before. We've gotten up, we've gotten after it, gotten activated, and had a great day. So just another little set of confidence, going into some of those East Coast games.
Seattle has its first preseason game a week from this Saturday in Los Angeles against the Chargers. The Wenatchee Apple Sox came up short in 2 of 3 games over the weekend in Edmonton, including Sunday's 4-2 loss. Voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman, tells us Wenatchee got out 2 early leads both Saturday and Sunday, but couldn't hold leads in both of those games.
The Wenatchee Apple Sox dropped 2 of 3 games in their first leg of their 6-game Canadian road trip as they won the series opener against Edmonton on Friday, but fall in the next 2 games. And the theme of the games on Saturday and Sunday were the big innings for the Riverhawks. They scored 5 runs in the 6th inning on Saturday night, and then 4 times in the bottom of the 2nd inning on Sunday as they wrap up the series with a 4-2 triumph at Remax Field. The Apple Sox scored first on Sunday, striking in the 1st inning. The 2nd straight day where they got runs early, but the bats just went quiet. Their 2nd day being held to just 2 runs in a game, and Wenatchee unable to win this series, and now heading off to Kelowna to try and pick up some victories. Jackson Campbell was terrific in relief. He did not allow any runs in his 3rd outing of the summer of at least 3 2/3 scoreless innings. He was phenomenal, but picked up a no decision in this game. Wenatchee is at Kelowna on Monday night with first pitch at 6:35 at Elks Stadium. With your Apple Sox update, I'm Joel Norman.
Aiden Doherty continued to swing a hot bat for Wenatchee Sunday, going 3 for 4 with an RBI. Cam Holland took the loss on the mound, lasting 3 1/3 innings while allowing 4 runs on 8 hits. As Joel mentioned, Wenatchee's in Kelowna to begin a 3-game series tonight at 6:35. You can hear Joel's broadcast on radio on Sunny FM. Checking the Les Schwab WCL scoreboard from Sunday, Bellingham ripped Nanoma 7-5, Victoria vaulted Kamloops 7-3, Walla Walla sprung Springfield 8-4, Bend beat Yakima Valley 9-3, Portland popped Corvallis 9-0, Ridgeland got by Colletts 10-6, Port Angeles scored 4 runs in the 11th to beat Kelowna 8-5. The West Coast League North second half standings show Wenatchee and Bellingham tied for first at 11-7. Victoria and Port Angeles are a game back at 10-8. Nanaimo and Edmonton lurk in the shadows at 9-9. Ridgefield is back atop the standings in the WCL South at 15-4. Portland is a half game back at 15-5. Bend is a game and a half back at 13-5. Both Corvallis and Wenatchee have already secured a spot in the playoffs by winning the first half titles in the South and North, respectively. And the Olympics started on Friday. Local-Tel is offering coverage of that on Channel 31 and 32. It is 27 minutes after the hour. We'll take a quick break and then come back with our National Obscure Holiday.
Hey there folks, Blueberry Carrie here to invite you on out to experience Blueberry Hills. Of course, the food is fabulous, like our cheese blintz, our famous French dip, our legendary Eggs Benedict, and unforgettable burgers. But we're more than just great food. People come from all over the world to experience what's been called one of the best destination restaurants in the Pacific Northwest. So come on out and see what all the fuss is about. Blueberry Hills in Manson. It's where the world is coming to.
At Confluence Health, our mission is clear: to provide exceptional care for our community. We believe in healthcare that's personal and local because we're just like you, members of this great community.
We are Confluence.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
Local care by and for our community.
We are Confluence.
Caught?
It is 29 minutes after the hour on the 29th of July. I'm Kaylee Worthen, filling in for Dan this week. Today's national holiday inspired my dinner plans for tonight. It's National Lasagna Day. Lasagna means more than one sheet of pasta, so technically it's the plural of lasagna. However, in many languages, including English, the word lasagna is used to describe a whole, fully baked version of the pasta dish. The largest lasagna weighed over 10,000 pounds. The largest lasagna in the world was created by Magillo Restaurant and Makro Supermarket in Poland. This lasagna was made on June 20th, 2012 and weighed over 10,725 pounds and 7 ounces. The most expensive lasagna cost $100 a slice. It's sold, of course, in Las Vegas. Today in history, on July 29th, 1948, 76 years ago, after a hiatus of 12 years caused by World War II, the first Summer Olympics to be held since the 1936 Summer Olympics in Berlin opens in London. The 1940 Games were supposed to be held in Tokyo, then moved to London, and they were supposed to host the 1944 Games. Germany and Japan were not invited. The Soviet Union was, but decided not to participate. There was one major problem at the games. Though the United States had won the 400-meter relay by a full 18 feet, a judge ruled that one of the U.S. team members had passed the baton outside of the passing zone. Thus, the U.S. team was disqualified. The medals were handed out. The national anthems were played. The United States officially protested the ruling, and after careful review of the films and photographs taken of the baton pass, the judges did decide that the pass had been completely legal, and the United States team was actually the real winner. The British team had to give up their gold medals and receive silver. The Italian team then received the bronze medals, which had been given up by the Hungarian team. And July 29th, 1973, 51 years ago, while Led Zeppelin was playing the third and final show of their 33-date tour of North America at Madison Square Garden, someone breaks into the safe at the Drake Hotel where the group was staying and makes off with the gate receipts from the shows held the previous 2 nights. Slightly over $200,000 in cash, along with all 4 members' passports, were stolen. Led Zeppelin's tour manager was questioned, but later exonerated. The crime was never solved. July 29th, 1981, 43 years ago, a worldwide television audience of over 700 million people watched the wedding of Charles, Prince of Wales, and Lady Diana Spencer in London. They had 27 wedding cakes. Diana is the only royal bride to obey from her wedding vows. The ceremony lasted 4 hours, and the wedding cost an estimated of $48 million. Today's birthdays: we're going to celebrate Charlie Christian. He was born 1916, guitarist with the Benny Goodman Orchestra for 2 years, the first great electric guitarist. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 1990. 1938, Peter Jennings was born, anchor of ABC World News Tonight from 1983 until his death. One of the big 3, along with Dan Rather and Tom Brokaw. Fact about him that's pretty depressing: he resumed smoking after the September 11th attacks and died of lung cancer later. And Ken Burns, a big happy birthday. He's 71, and he was in Brooklyn Bridge, the Statue of Liberty, the Roosevelts, the war, the Vietnam War, country music. And another 71-year-old today, Geddy Lee, Canadian musician, singer, and songwriter. He is best known as the lead vocalist, bassist, and keyboardist for the Canadian rock group Rush. And lastly, a Japanese sumo wrestler, 39, I am probably going to butcher his name, Oke Inami Ayumi. He is again turning 39 today, so happy birthday to him. And a big thank you to our sponsor, Alpine Air. For heat and air, call Alpine Air. Like we chatted about earlier, this upcoming weekend will be hot. 104 Friday, Saturday, and 103 on Sunday. So keep them in mind for all of your air conditioning needs. And I also want to give another thanks to our friends at Prestige Senior Living at Colonial Vista. It is 33 minutes after the hour on the 29th day of July. Up next, we're going to hear from one of our Chelan County Commissioner candidates, and then we'll be back with our wrap-up. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Kaylee Worthen.
Caught in a conflict? Family? Workplace? Neighbor? Business? Housing disputes? Wenatchee Valley Dispute Resolution Center provides mediation services, a cost-effective and efficient way to provide a written resolution to disputes and issues. Plus, we offer mediation training and community education on conflict resolution and communication skills. Contact us to learn more.
A ductless unit from Carrier can keep anyone comfortable. Take Shelly, for instance. She finds me time in her new attic-turned-home gym. And with her Carrier ductless unit, the temperature is always perfect. No matter how intense her workout gets. Carrier. Total comfort, totally happy.
Turn to the experts, Carrier and Alpine Air. Heat and air, call Alpine Air. When you've been in business for 40 years, it's because you understand change and you put members first, always. Now Works is announcing a change in their membership model. Up to 6 people on one membership that you can mix and match. The more people, the bigger the discounts. Introducing the Works shared membership model. One membership, friends and family and flexibility. Works, the cleanest, friendliest, most helpful gyms you and your friends will ever join.
Hey, this is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Bruce Springsteen is a Jersey boy, and that's pretty cool. But his song, Glory Days, always kind of bothered me. I always thought it was depressing, particularly the line, well, time slips away and leaves you with nothing, mister, but boring stories to tell of. Now, this is my goal. You know, I never want my glory days to be behind me. I always want them to be something ahead. No matter how old we get, I think we ought to need to keep stretching ourselves, keep trying to top the good stuff of our past. Glory days? Maybe sometime tomorrow. This is Mike Mad Dog Magnotti, and that's my opinion.
Since 1932, Camp Seneca, nestled on the beautiful shores of Lake Wenatchee, has provided children grades 1 through 12 with the ideal location for kids to learn new skills, have fun, and make friends while creating memories that will last a lifetime. Camp Seneca's rustic log cabins and their staff serve to provide each group a unique summer camp experience. Register for Camp Seneca today, www.campfirencw.org.
It's the NCW Life Community Calendar presentation of Apple Valley Honda. Tickets are on sale now for the Short Shakespearean's production of A Midsummer Night's Dream at the Riverside Playhouse. The show runs Wednesday, July 31st through Saturday, August 3rd at 7 p.m. with a matinee on August 3rd at 2 p.m. The show is directed by Kelly Atwood and Maddie Atwood, produced by Mark Belton with Amy Edwards serving as the musical director. Tickets can be had by visiting numericapac.org. Don't miss the Grant County Fair in Moses Lake, August 13th through the 17th. Leading the entertainment list is Diamond Rio, Thursday, August 15th, with special guest Katie Wade. Friday night is 90s favorite Chingy with special guest DJ Precise. And Wednesday night, two of the best tribute bands in the country, Best of Both Worlds, a Van Halen tribute, and Crazy Train, an Ozzy tribute. VIP tickets are available at gcfairgrounds.com.
It's vacation season. While a trip to Hawaii sounds great, we know what you really want is an inflation vacation. That's why Abby's feeds a group of 4 to 6 people for less than $26. Enjoy an inflation vacation at Abby's. You can be a superhero tonight and treat your family to Abby's famous hometown hero. This giant features our classic pepperoni, tasty Italian sausage, and crisp green peppers, all layered together for a legendary feast. Don't miss this July special pizza at a very special price.
Jefferson Robbins for NCW Life. Seats on the Chelan County Board of Commissioners don't come open very often, but there's one open now in District 3. There are 4 competitors. One of them joins me now, Republican Brant Capel. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Thanks for having me this morning.
I appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, absolutely.
If I were a voter, and I am a voter, introduce yourself to me and tell me about your background. You know, if you're a candidate presenting yourself to me for my vote, what kind of candidate are you?
Yeah, sure. So, husband, father of 3 little girls. The youngest is 2.5 months old, so busy time in my house. I am a almost lifelong resident of Chelan County. Moved up here with my mom when I was pretty young, so lived in Chelan County ever since. Except for some time at WSU, got a degree in natural resource policy and political science. So natural resources, forestry, and fisheries are very important to me and near and dear to me. Great county to have that. We're 87% publicly owned. We have the Columbia River running right through the heart of our valley, and tons of opportunities to be out there recreating and enjoying our natural resources. I'm a public servant. I see myself as serving the folks of right now the 12th district in my job as a legislative assistant to Keith Gaynor. So I'm the person, the one-time full-time year-round staff member that answers the phone. So if you call into that office or you email, I'm the one on the other end that's helping you no matter what the political affiliation is that you have or whoever you voted for, my job is to help you navigate the bureaucracy that is the state government. So look to bring that experience, my experience in natural resources, and just my heart of service and care for this county to the commission.
And you've been a legislative aide for about a dozen years, 13 years, I think you mentioned earlier. So people might not know you as a political person, but you are the person they get on the other end of the phone if they need to reach their representative.
Yeah, and I don't see myself as really as a politician. It's kind of an interesting spot to be in. I mean, I'm kind of a policy wonk, kind of a nerd when it comes to those things. So, I really like to dive into helping our constituents solve their problems. And to be upfront and honest, there's a lot of times when people call in and I can't get to what they need, but a lot of times folks just want someone to listen to. And so I spend a lot of time just listening to them and feeling compassionate for them and doing the best that I can. And the joy in my job is when I do get those wins. When someone calls in and has been trying to navigate employment security and is on the brink of losing their house or losing their car. And the last thing I think that people think to do is to call into their legislature. And so when they do that, I know that they're desperate, and I do my best to try and solve those. And sometimes we actually get to help folks out and really do get to make a difference. And so I see as a county commissioner that my job is to listen and learn from the folks. I'm not coming in with a set of goals of legacy or special interests. My job is to serve the people that voted me into office. And so I look to do that, to bring their voice to the county level, and then also to help our state delegation explain what Chelan County needs at the state level, because the state and the county are tied in so tightly in regulations and mandates that come down from the legislature that the county has to implement. I think it's important that Olympia understands that what maybe works in King County and Seattle doesn't work over here.
And so if you're dealing with people as a legislative aide, you say you're just trying to solve their problems, and on a commissioner level, you're doing that on a different basis. When you talk about problems for broader Chelan County, what kind of issues do you see, Brant, that you think are just kind of crying out to be addressed by the commissioners?
Yeah. Well, I think at this point it's going to be hard-pressed to find anyone that hasn't been touched either by the drug addiction, homeless, and the crime situation that's going on in Chelan County. The 3rd district goes all the way up to Chelan and Manson, and in Chelan and Manson, when you don't see it quite as much, because frankly there's not a lot of services up there, but those folks that are in those throes usually come down here into the Wenatchee Valley. We have a really unique opportunity right now. About $20 million was slated from the state capital budget to fund a substance use disorder clinic, a new facility that replaces the one that's here in town, that's very old, very dilapidated, needs to be replaced. It's one of the pieces I think we're missing in helping folks that are in the throes of drug addiction. If we can get that sited and built, I think we can then present a chance for those folks to make a choice. Either going to go to treatment and try and get clean, understanding that it might not happen the first, second, or third time, but we got to do something different than we're doing, or you're going to go to jail. It's not compassion to have these people dying on the streets, to have them doing open drug use, to having them steal things. I've been affected by it. I've had things stolen from my house. I've had, the graffiti down the street. I've had all those things happening. I just don't think it's acceptable what we're allowing to have happen here in Chelan County. And so we have a homelessness coordinator in Chelan County under the commissioners. I've talked with them. I think they have some really good ideas and thoughts, but one of the pieces that we're missing is, what do we do with the folks that want treatment, that need treatment?
When you talk about dealing with crime and tying it back to homelessness or substance abuse disorder, drug addiction or drug use possession is already a crime in the county and in the state. So what different approach should Chelan County be taking other than that which is provided by the judiciary?
Yeah, and I've actually had some conversations with some of our judges here in the county, and I think there's also some question as to there's a misunderstanding of what the judges want to see as far as cases that they're willing to rule on, and what the prosecutor's office is willing to take on. They only have so much capacity to take on cases. And so when our law enforcement officers are out there and communicating with these folks, they need to know, okay, if I take the time to bring this person in, to give them this choice, and then let's say they don't make the choice to get treatment, bring them in, that they're not going to just be a revolving door, that the prosecutor actually is going to go, yes, we need to prioritize that, and that the judges are going to go, yeah, this is a case that I want to take on. And the conversations I've had is there's some communication that's not going on there. I think back in the 90s, we actually had a committee that was put together that was the commissioners, law enforcement officers, the judiciary, the prosecutor's office that would talk and meet. That hasn't happened in a long time. It's still under our code. But one of the things I've talked to with some of our judges is bringing that back. So I think that would be really important because our office, we have finite resources, right? We want to make sure that we're using those to the best of our abilities because there are possession laws. We have changed some of that. It's not the hard hitting that it used to be. And that's a conversation that the state still needs to have. Yeah, I've seen what the city of Wenatchee does with some of their ordinances on that they've changed on camping in parks. So, if we can't necessarily bring them in just for the drug possession use charges, what else can we do to help them to steer them in the right direction?
Have you seen, Brant, under this county board or previous county boards, votes or issues that have been taken up, and you're like, well, if I were commissioner, I would have gone the other direction? Have they set priorities that you think might have been misguided?
It's interesting at the county level. Where we can affect and what we can affect is rather limited. One of the things that did come up and it hasn't been brought back up, and this was when I ran in 2020, was a hot button issue, was the short-term rentals. We have a statute in place. It's pretty convoluted, fairly complicated. Some folks, it set limits on via zip code of how many STR, short-term rentals, we'll call them STRs for short, could be in a certain zip code.
Right. There's a cap in your living area as to how many places could be offered for short-term rental.
Right, exactly. And when I lived up in Chelan, we actually, in 2012, my wife and I across the street had one of the first short-term rentals before Airbnb was really a thing. And it was great until it wasn't. When we had the party kids that came in and they were up all night and, boyfriend, girlfriend drinking and got in a fight and things like that, it was like, gosh, this really sucks. I don't really want this across the street from me. At the same point, too, though, it's someone else's property. They have the right to do with it as they please as long as it's not affecting me. My problem was, and at the time I said, we need to put a pause in, which actually the commissioners did about 3 months after that, and we need to reassess and look at other places. We're not the only county and the only place in the state or the nation that has this tourism dependency and therefore a need for short-term rentals or places for people to stay. They then set up a board to look at this and a committee, and it had folks that were pro and folks that were con. They really didn't come up with really any solution. I mean, they both kind of stood their ground. And so what we came up with was kind of splitting the baby. And unfortunately, I think we needed to enforce the laws that we had on noise ordinances, occupancy, some of the issues with is a house being over-occupied for their sewer or septic system. We do have some enforcement officers now that are underneath the Chelan County Sheriff's Department, but the problem is, when are these issues happening? It's not 9 to 5 when these folks are on staff. It's in the middle of the night. So some folks, going back to what ended up happening, folks that had STRs and were fine, never had any issues, didn't get permitted because they didn't fit into the lottery system, didn't get theirs. And we still have the same issues. I'm still hearing from folks up there, especially in the Chelan-Manson area, that are unhappy with what's going on. So there's been a reluctancy to readdress that from the county commissioner's standpoint. I think they're kind of seeing how things are going, but I'm seeing it now and talking with people. It's not working. We need to go back.
There was a vote recently on the county commissioners board to reopen that process and see if that cap needs to be lifted. For one thing, that's just one aspect. But talking about STRs, one of the reasons that people were pushing for some kind of regulation was the idea that they move housing prices upward, and that housing prices have become unattainable in Chelan County. How would you, as commissioner, balance those needs? We need more housing to house people who want to live here. Yeah. We need to conserve those areas that are designated for conservation, and we need to keep housing at a fair rate for people to be able to afford it. How do you deal with all of that?
Yeah, it's a lot. To be honest with you, at the county level, we can only control so much, and a lot of the land use management that the county does is on a larger scale than what we would need to see for like affordable housing, for workforce housing. You know, I'm in a generation where my wife and I were grateful that we found a house when we did, and we were able to have a decent interest rate, and it was really recently. But I never thought that my first house would be a $300,000 plus house, and that's pretty modest anymore for our area.
That's the
right?
middle of the range in Wenatchee now.
It really is. And so I look at it and I see my peers really struggling, whether they're going to pay a large amount for rent or even more for a mortgage because of the interest rates. So going back to what you're saying, the interesting thing, there is this debate on STRs of is that driving up home prices or not? A lot of the STRs that we see, that I've seen, are not houses that would have been built that would have been affordable. Especially in the county where our zoning is such that you're really not going much smaller than a half acre on a lot of those zoning areas because of the Growth Management Act that dictates from the state down to the counties of how they manage that growth. So I think it plays a part in it, but I don't know that it really affects it as much as some people believe. The things that I think that the county should work on is working with our city partners. So whether that's in Chelan, Eniat, Wenatchee. I've had some really great conversations with Eniat. The mayor of Eniat and their council is really looking to be the bedroom community. As long as they're still a community, that's the part that they don't want to lose because they don't have industry there. So how do we take and encourage developers to put in more, whether that's condos or duplexes or apartments or some sort of a housing structure that's more affordable and obtainable for the workforce in like Chelan or in Wenatchee. You could do the same outside of Chelan towards, Chelan Falls in some of those areas, but to be honest, it's going to be very, very difficult. And even the Housing Trust up in Chelan has struggled to build on a subsidized basis affordable housing. When you're talking about a 2-bedroom, 1-bath condo up there that you don't own the land because the trust does, and it's $335,000, they're struggling to find people that fit in the income bracket to fill in there. So at the county level, going back, I think we're really limited based on our land use ability at the county to really encourage and find and cite where we would put affordable housing. But I think it's just time that we all as a community in Chelan County come together and look at it from, what can the ports do, what can the PUDs do, and what can the commissioners do, and our local city partners do to encourage those things.
You're running, Brent, in Chelan County Commissioner District 3. The primary will happen within that district. Only the voters in your district get to vote on who should advance to the general. In the general, the whole county votes, and they get to decide who the District 3 commissioner is. Is that system fair and balanced and workable, or should it be looked at from a perspective of, well, maybe only District 3 votes for District 3? Yeah,
it's an interesting idea. I think the reason that we, our forefathers designed it this way is there's only 3 of us on the commission. And at the end of the day, we're voting not just on issues that are specific to our district. We're voting on issues that are full county-wide issues. But it really provides a unique opportunity for us to speak to the issues within our district in the primary, and to make sure that that our district has a voice in who the top 2 folks are going to be. And then going to the general, it does really change things because the things that affect Chelan and Manson are much different than what's going on in Malaga and in Lake Wenatchee. But I don't know that it needs to change, but I think it really surprises people and takes people off guard that, wait, okay, so you're running in this area of North Wenatchee all the way up to Chelan and Manson, but then if you make it through, you'll be on the ballot in the general. It's just interesting. I'd be curious to know more about why they chose that. But you look at other areas like Spokane County or King County where they have a council, and they have 5 or 7 folks on there, and that's a little bit different. And you have a little bit more spread of votes versus that 3. And when being one of 3, I think it's proper that the full county has a decision at the end of the day.
Well, Brant Capel, Republican candidate for Chelan County Commissioner District 3. Thanks a lot for being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you having me.
You're watching.
Highlander Golf Course and Grill, located in East Wenatchee, offers terrific views and challenging play for golfers at every skill level. From the golf course to the grill, you don't need to be a member to dine in style and play golf too. Highlander's well-groomed fairways and greens keep it difficult, yet friendly for your regular rounds of golf or a new destination for you and your out-of-town friends. Contact the Highlander Pro Shop today to schedule your tee time, outing, or tournament. Open 7 days a week, where everyone is welcome to play and eat.
Are you dealing with a pest or weed issue and you just don't know what to do?
We use the best pest control methods approved for areas with kids and pets.
Whether it's rats, mice, ants, or spiders,
or something else altogether, we provide the coaching and solutions you're looking for.
And you can know that your dollars are supporting a local, family-owned and operated business.
Allow us to help you get back to living healthy and pest-free. Harvest Valley Pest Control.
Most of us are in touch with the internet in one way or another all day long. A fast, secure connection matters. It keeps us entertained, informed, and in touch. LocalTel cares about your connection. We know strong, reliable internet with your choice of speed makes life better. If you need fast, reliable internet, or maybe an upgrade, or you just have questions, connect with us by visiting localtel.com or call 509-888-8888 today.
Now there are even more reasons to meet at the Pybus Market. Outdoor dining and tastings, the fabulous Farmers Market, Saturday artisans on the concourse, and your favorites all week long. No matter the reason, it's always time to meet at the Pybus Market. Pybus Market, where community meets.
Here's your coffee. That'll be $5.
Thanks.
Oh, it's only $5.
Oh, I like paying double.
Why?
I've always paid more.
You wouldn't pay double for coffee. So don't pay double on your heating bill. Cut your heating bills by up to half when you switch to a heat pump or ductless mini split and get cash back from Chelan PUD plus federal tax credits. Learn more at chelanpud.org/save.
Welcome back and good Monday morning. It is 57 minutes after the hour on the 29th day of July. We are just about out of this month, heading into August. We are under an air quality alert today. I just took a look, and it looks like Wenatchee, we're at a moderate air quality, but in Chelan, it's at 51 AQI, which is putting it at poor, so something to keep in mind. Also, today will be the coolest day of the week. We're looking at a high of about 80. We do have a slight chance of showers this afternoon. Again, I wouldn't need an umbrella, but you could fill with a couple raindrops. It looks like that's mainly going to be after 10 this morning, and we are going to have gusty winds today, up to 20 miles per hour. Later tonight, it looks like it's going to stay windy with winds up to 21 miles per hour, and we'll have a low dip down to about 62. And tomorrow, it's going to be mid-80s, and then after that, we're going to head into the 90s for our midweek at 92, 99 degrees, and then Friday, unfortunately, we are back in those triple-digit numbers with a high of 104 both Friday and Saturday, and a low of only about 72, 71. And Sunday will cool off to a bit to about 102. And that's what's ahead for this week's weather. Again, Dan Kuntz is out until next Monday. He's taking a well-earned assignment, as he called it on Friday. So I'll be here just until Friday, and we'll catch you up on all the sports, news, and weather that Dan usually covers. So stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on that Pioneer fire. Again, there was a evacuation level bumped up to a level 3 on Sunday. However, certain other parts, the southern portion of the fire, did drop down to a level 1. So that is something to keep an eye on. You can catch your local news later today at 5, 6, and 10. So you can catch up on the Pioneer fire as well as our other local news. And you can catch that on NCW Life or on our website, on the homepage, or on our Facebook page, YouTube page, and there's even an app for you to find all of the local stuff. So thank you for bearing with me. I do understand this is a little different than your usual coverage, but should be a fun week for us. And keep an eye out on that air quality. Again, it is poor, 51 AQI in Chelan, which does mean that it's a high level of pollution and unhealthy for those sensitive groups. So maybe reduce some time outside today. Again, it will be the coolest day of the week today, so enjoy that 80 and 85 tomorrow.